Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who got all three of the Matt Hughes BJ Penn fights incorrect. And I'm here to talk about Abdul Razak Alhassan versus Claudio Ribeiro. This is a fight between two bona fide knockout artists, one proven at the UFC level, but these guys are all knockout. Abdul Razak Alhassan's 11-5. He's got 11 knockouts. 11 of those come in round one. He's a fucking monster. And his 5 losses are 1 via first round knockout to Chaos Williams, and the other 4 all UFC fights as well, to Munir Lazez, Omari Akhmedov, Jacob Malkoun, and fucking Joaquin Buckley. He is 37 years old. He's 7 years older than Claudio Ribeiro, giving up 3 inches of height and 4 inches of reach. So he is undersized. Ribeiro's one of these, new age fighters. He's a big guy. Again, 3 inches of height, 4 inches of reach on him. He's 10-2. He's got 10 knockouts out of his 10 victories. 8 of those come in round 1, 1 in round 2, and 1 in round 5, believe it or not. His 2 losses are 1 via submission and 1 via decision. The submission was the first loss of his career, and the decision was a little deeper, and it was a pretty close fight. Ribeiro, he lost that fight because of his style. If he's not able to get you out of there in round 1, which that's always plan A, I'm sure, then I think he slows down. I don't think he trusts his cardio to fight hard for 15 minutes. But he's one of those guys, he's got that Yoel Romero touch where he's always dangerous. And his inactivity, even though it has worked against him, I thought in that decision loss, it generally works for him. And the best example of that would be his win in the 5th round over this solid Brazilian journeyman, Kelly Albuquerque. He got him out of there in round 5, and it was a fight that he was being controlled and smothered. The fight slowed down, and he was, being neutralized, I guess would be the best word. But he found his pockets and, his little moments, made Kellish pay and smashed his face in enough where he got the stoppage in the end. So doing a lot of damage deep into that fight, rounds 4 and 5, the championship rounds, it bodes well for him. I think, again, even though his inactivity will cost him decisions and his lack of aggression, he's he's the exact opposite of Mendoza, the guy I was talking about before. But still, the fact that he's always dangerous is, something a lot of other fighters don't have. Ribeiro, I expect to always be dangerous. He can get that knockout in round 3 just as well as he could in round 1. Just generally speaking, fighting shittier competition, he's going to get you out of there in round 1. As for this one, look, he could get Abdul Razak Alhassan out of there in round 1. I do think, of course, if it's a case of his chin not meeting the power of Ribeiro, then it will be settled in round 1. Because Ribeiro is going to land on him early, I believe. If Ribeiro's not able to knock him out, Abdul Razak Alhassan, I do think, leads the dance. Even though he's shorter and, smaller altogether, I trust him more. I wish I could trust him more as a fighter to use his judo that he's apparently got to actually take Ribeiro out on the ground. But I just don't, I can't trust that. Not enough to predict it anyway. It'd be nice to see. But I expect this to be a stand-up fight with both them trying to kill each other. And to be honest, I find myself siding with Claudio Ribeiro. I do think if he was to win, it'd probably be a first-round knockout. Generally speaking, if you look at either one of their resumes, that's what's going to happen. But even if he's not able to get Abdul Razak Alhassan out of there, because, the guy is tough to get out of there. He's only been knocked out once, and it was by Chaos Williams, which in a broad sense, it's like a similar matchup, the young prospect who's got killer power or whatever. But even if he's not able to get him out of there in round 1, I expect Alhassan to be leading the dance, but still, from what I've seen from Ribeiro, he is still going to be dangerous, and I still expect him to be a threat throughout this whole fight. And even if he's not able to get a knockout throughout the whole fight, I do think his power and his, overall danger, it's going to score points for him. So I find myself siding with Ribeiro to win. Prediction would be first round knockout, but I did bet on Ribeiro's money line, minus 115. And that's because the knockout prop isn't available yet, or even the finish prop for some reason on this fight. But I did bet on Ribeiro, minus 115. Abdul Razak Alhassan, I do trust him more to score better points overall, win the small moments. But I think all the big moments will go to Ribeiro, most of them. And I'm taking him to win here. So we'll see what happens. Abdul Razak Alhassan is the more tried and tested fighter, and typically I'd be going with a guy like that. But just with the physicality and him slowing down, having that one knockout loss recently, and this being a particularly dangerous UFC newcomer, I'm going with Ribeiro. And there is a round one knockout prop is plus 225 for Ribeiro, which whatever. I'll get drunk enough and sprinkle on that. But for now, I've just got him in a parlay or two. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.